Not okay.
But if the mail is the client, you want to reach out.
This is networking, not client. When you're
We're
closing,
going to get into that right
completely
now.
different.
We're going to move into that, okay?
So there's a couple of tips in there. If you, again, it says on that sheet, if you're booking a closing session or trying to figure out if it's a fit, give yourself an hour to an hour and a half, and I'll usually call it an hour with some bumper room just in case we need it, so that you do have that time, but you're still holding to your verbal contract of not walking all over their time and their engagements. Put it in your CRM, track it, make sure that you know where your networking money's coming from. Because if you're going to 3 events a week and you're finding 3 people to do coffee with, that's 9. In about a month, you're going to know where the cash is coming from. And it is then your responsibility to make quality decisions with your networking time and money. Are we all on board for that? Can I follow up with you in like a month and you're going to be like, yeah, it's how to track stuff. I'm calling random people, so be prepared. So let's go a little bit into qualifying.
All right, we're going to talk about, now that you've done your tracking and you know who you're calling and the reason you're calling them, now we're going to talk about trying to make an appointment, not for networking necessarily, but hopefully to see if there's connection. And I'm going to go right into, you're looking to see if you can make an appointment with someone for a sales appointment is what you're doing. So when you pick up the phone, it's important that you know what you're going to say. You have to have a script. I don't like a script. I'm uncomfortable with a script. You do not have to read it like a Roboton, but you have to have it written down because everybody that picks up the phone is nervous. I don't care who you are, how many times you've done it. There's a little bit of anxiety. And your mind goes here and there. They say something and you're thrown off. Ah! What do I say now? Have a script. Okay, now, when you pick up the phone, you have your script. The first thing you want to do is refresh the basis of the connection. Hi, I met you at a strategic forum meeting. Remember we had a conversation and I told you I'd call and I didn't follow up? So you kind of reconnect with how you know them. Oh, wasn't that NAWBO speaker great? How'd you like the food? You know, just reconnect.
And ladies, this page is blank so that you write it down so that you remember it extra.
So now what you're doing is you're building rapport. Wow, did you see Linda and Marie? That was really helpful. What did you think about it? You're finding something. What rapport is finding something in common that you both can relate to. And I think all of us find that kind of the easiest part. Here's the rule. 2 to 3 minutes, no more. So many people get carried away that for half an hour talking about things. I knew your uncle when, you know, it's too much. So then you want to set the appointment. How do you do that? You say to them, my purpose of my call is to see if you'd be interested in whatever it is, and then say, go right to it, the calendar. You know, what day works best for you? Okay. Do we have time for the meeting agenda exercise, or?
I think we do. We're at about 10 minutes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So what are the components that you feel are really necessary in a meeting agenda for a sales appointment? Can you think of some of them?
Setting the time.
Setting the time.
Find out their names before.
Okay. How many of you feel that you want to find out the pain when you're setting the appointment? She said, finding the pain.
Pain, like the outpain.
You know, people buy because they have some kind of a pain, or they want to get something. Those are the reasons. Huh?
Fix their needs, okay.
Okay, yeah.
So I think in the agenda, we're just setting a frame for when we're going to go through and really uncover that pain.
Is that for the actual sales appointment or for before the sales appointment?
This is for setting a sales appointment.
For setting it up.
Yes. So that's a very important part of the selling process, but we would not include it at this point. Yes. Anybody else? What else are you going to do?
Be clear about the intention.
Ah, exactly. The purpose of my call is great. You always want to get that right out there, right away. Anybody else?
I saw a hand back here. Go ahead.
Be succinct and timely.
Be tired.
Messaging.
Yes.
Okay, good.
And there was one more hand back there.
Purpose.
Okay.
You know, I want to include here honesty and integrity. You never go wrong when you really say to somebody, you heard me say lots of times, I don't know this word, I don't know this. it endears people to you. I don't do it for that reason. It's really who I am. But if you're just honest and you have integrity, people feel that, and it goes through the phone. Okay? So don't try to be techniquey. Don't try to think, what can I say that's going to work better? Just say what genuinely is going on.
And I would say with intention and purpose, you want to let them know what your intention is. You also want to find out what their intention is. Because there's a reason that they're talking to you. And you know what you'll find out? They either are looking to purchase a service, or I want to network. And then you know how to set that appointment. Don't let them sneak in there and go for a networking appointment and they sit there and try and sell you stuff for 2 hours. Ask them, this is what I'm hoping for. What would you like to see? And if they lie, then you just get to beat them up or something.
What I get nervous about networking is that I feel bad if what they're doing isn't something that I need. And so I avoid them because I'm afraid of insulting someone or making, you know what I mean? How do you do
And
that?
we touched on this a little bit. You might actually find a fantastic connection because you can help them find someone else that can help them. So it's not just the direct sale, I'm selling you a product.
And I really want to encourage that, and Alexandra's a great person to talk to about this. Especially when you're networking, you want to think less of yourself as the consumer and more about those that you know that could be quality introductions, not necessarily to buy it, but that maybe they market to the same demographic, or maybe they could be supportive in some way, and that allows you to be of value outside of your own pocketbook.
And I want to move really quickly to now you're sitting in front of the person, and it is what I call a sales interview. Everybody has different names for it. You want to repeat your purpose in being there. You establish it on the phone. Make sure everybody understands what's going on. The honesty and the integrity. And then you go into what we call discovery. And that's asking questions to find out, what do they need? What do they want? Why are they there? What are they hoping for? And when I say listen, I mean, we've heard this 1,000 times. We have 2 ears, 1 mouth. We want to listen 80% of the time and talk 20% of the time. We really want to find out everything we can that's going to help us see if we have a solution, if we can fill the need. What's the difference between needing something, wanting something, and having the ability to do it? Anybody know? You're sitting in front of somebody and you've identified a need. Okay, I need a water heater for my house. I really need a water heater. Oh my God, that's so great because I'm selling water heaters. Okay, you got a deal. Oh, I don't have the money for it now.
Do we have the right word here? I mean, you have to find a fit.
You have to find if there's a fit. So one of the ways is to identify a need doesn't necessarily mean that there's a fit. I need a water heater, but I'm not ready to buy a water heater. Or actually, my uncle has a great water heater. So you got to find out what the true situation is. Okay, so if you have yeah, go ahead.
In that fit, we're not only talking about do they have the money for it, but when are they prepared to do it? And especially if you're of a service industry, are they prepared to do what they need to do to empower you to complete the project? Don't forget those things, because then you end up with clients that are not financially qualified, that are wanting to put it off for another 5 or 6 months, and that aren't going to show up in a fashion that's going to allow you to be successful. So
We call this determining their commitment. That's what you want to establish. You keep asking questions until there's nothing else to find out, and you'll discover if they're ready to buy. And the last thing about being on a sales interview is something that so many of us are afraid of, and we should embrace. Anybody have any idea what that is? What are we afraid of? They're going to say no. Have you ever had a customer that said yes, that a little bit later you wish they said no? They drive you crazy. So be prepared not to close. I mean, I'm so happy to get up and get out of there sometimes. I can't tell you, because they're not the right fit. I can't help them. So I embrace that. When I go on a sales interview, I want to see if they're a fit, and I want to see if they're not a fit, because I got other people that I want to talk to. So be prepared and be happy. They're not right. I got other things to do, places to go, and people to see. You don't always have to close. Who closes 100% of the time? No kidding. It's just not done. So you have to be really pleased to have the opportunity to move on.
So let's talk about some of the objections that we're getting. Depending on where you are in your sales comfort level, objections are either the most terrifying thing you've ever experienced, or you're like, all right, I got them, because I can handle these objections, let's go. Tell me a little bit about some of the objections that you hear.
Expensive.
And that's actually exactly the answer I was wanting, so thank you very much. How many of you have ever been tempted to discount your services?
Yeah.
When you have, because at some point, chances are we all have if we have the ability, have you ever left that contract or that experience going, oh my God, because I discounted my services, that client was easier on me, it was the most perfect thing I've ever done, and then they sent me so much business that I just can't stand myself. No. Usually, they're the ones that are the pain in the butt, they take extra time, they use more resources, and you're kicking yourself, and it's my least favorite. I hate it when stuff is my fault, and that's like totally your fault. If you discount it, you are the one that determines your value. Okay, I'm going to say that one more time because I really want you to hear that here. You are the one that determines your value. And if money is an exchange of energy, you have to be consistent with the energy that you're going to put in and what you need to receive. Okay? It is easy to discount. It is never of service to you. If you're in a situation where you need to look differently at the price, add, never subtract. Not add dollars to it because that's just going to tick them off. Add extra benefits that you can provide in lieu of a discount. And if it's still not a fit, P plus F equals T. What it's cost them in the past and what it will cost them in the future is the actual total value for them. Okay? So if they've been trying to figure out a great example is I was working with a sales training company, and they said, do you realize that we have spent more than $18,000 trying to implement a successful client relationships management system, and nobody uses it? And I said, wow, that's great. And they're going, that's great. I'm like, yeah, what I've got is going to totally rock your world. It's going to be amazing. We're going to get your people connected to it, and it's not going to be $18,000. Well, that was over a couple of companies. Okay, well, let's talk about that. So it's still something you need. We've already put $18,000 in over a couple of different consultants, and we're probably going to have to try it a couple more times. So let's say that we're another $18,000 in. So now you're $36,000 down the road, and 2 months, 3 months, a quarter, 2 quarters behind in sales, which is, for your company, has got to be what, $70,000, $80,000? We're bumping up against $100,000. What I got's a bargain, baby. You can build your value by looking at their past experience plus what it's going to cost them in the future, and then your price will definitely seem like the best thing on earth. Never, ever, ever discount. It decreases your value, and you will not recover as quickly as you think you might. It doesn't just happen for one person. It declares your value to the entire market.
So I think we have very little time left. I think we have a minute or two left. On page 13, everything that we've been talking about really is responsible for how successful you are at closing the sale. It's everything you do before that's going to be responsible for the success you have. Okay, so all the things we were talking about how to set up a meeting, how to network, those are important things you need to know. Do you want to mention any of this, or
On the how you close the sales?
well, okay, we can go right there. That's good.
Is that good?
That's good.
So I'm gonna skip ahead for you to page 13, and we spoke about the how, before you close the sale, how you close the sale. There's a couple of different closing techniques that we really want you to understand. The first one is act as if they are already ready to decide. Act as if. If you are confident, this says immeasurable things about you and where you are in your business. And if you ask them, are you ready to decide now? You know what they're going to say? No, I can wait. open the door, be in that moment with them. The next is the emotional close. We talked about discovering the pain identifiers in the situation. Those are the things that are causing that person to make a decision now. And while we're not saying, stick your thumb in an open wound and tell them, if you don't do this now, your children will never go to college. They're going to sleep on your couch for the rest of their life, and you will probably pay to raise all of their children. Would you like to buy this now? Be a little bit tactful about it, but bring them back to the things that are emotionally compelling that are going to bring them into a close, because people make decisions based on emotion and back it up with logic. Skip the logical sale. Remind them why they're emotionally connected.
Okay, I'm going to talk about the conditional close. That's when you link the closure to resolving objections. So if you, let's say you want a red one. If I can phone up and I can get you a red one right now, will you? So it's putting something in front of them. If I give you this, can we agree that I'll get that? So it's a conditional close.
The next one is the opportunity close, and that really is, this is the opportunity, this is what you're going to be saving. Right now is the time to do it. This is why past plus future equals total. Let's go ahead and move forward now. Again, keep assuming that sale.
The retrial close. I love this. This is my very favorite. If I've messed up, I get to go back and start again. So all you want to do is say something like, maybe I misunderstood when you told me that we're looking for A, B, C. Maybe I got that wrong. Can we go back to the beginning so that I get it clear and I understand how best to serve you? Just start all over. And you'll find that they're going to say, well, you didn't get this. Let me tell you about that. You uncover more objections. It gives you more of a selling opportunity.
And one thing that I really want to stress, and can I ask, how many type A women do we have in the audience? Oh, I had a feeling I was in good company. Here's the thing. When you're in the sales process, you have to be okay with not being in total control. You with me? It's going to need to follow its own path a little bit. You can have your structure and you can continue to follow up. You cannot beat yourself up every time you don't have it go exactly the way that you'd hoped it would.
And even though it's scary, you don't feel this way, have fun. I have fun with it. It helps. You want to tell them about the evaluation?
I do. So on the back of your form, there's an evaluation there for everyone, and this is something that we coach through an optimal level as well as Lipstick Logic. Please do us a favor and tell us what you thought of the event today. And our way of thanking you is, one, make sure that you fill that out, because I'm going to send you that 2011 cloud-based CRM comparison so that you can start to wrap your mind around what that actually looks like. And Linda has a fabulous gift.
All right, I'm really excited to give this to you. This is a 4-part magic formula. If you fill this out and I hear from you, you're going to get this 4-part magic formula on how to succeed at any business, period.
Can you really resist that? And we are going to be here. We would love for you to stay and connect with us and schedule time with us. If it makes sense for us to network, if you're one of the 3 from today, make sure that you connect with us. But overall, we want to thank you for your time here today, and we look forward to seeing each and every one of you change the world. And you can do it by selling fabulous products. So
Thank you. Happy selling. Thank you.